Welcome back to the channel. This is my Dimensions and Transcendence Tier 4 Crucible 2 run with Vaan, Setzer, Noctis. Now, I do understand that you should not bring a melee attacker because they strongly resist melee, and aside from that, when they go into their concentration mode, if you attack them with melee, they're gonna insta-kill you, or they're gonna insta-kill the guy that you attacked them with melee. So, I brought Noctis because most of his attacks are melee, and I pretty much brought him for this right here, his LD. For those that don't know, his LD gives your whole party a buff called, I think it's Warp Step. So you'll see Setzer right here. I'm going to put him behind B. So whenever you target an enemy and you attack them, it's going to move your turn right before theirs. So here Vaan will attack A, and you're going to see his next move gets put right in front of A. Same thing goes for Noctis. He gives himself the same buff, see Warp Step. So once you attack, what he's going to do is that, there you go, his move goes right before A. And you can do that for 2 turns. Then obviously Noctis with this plus version, once you attack with this S1 or S2, they get converted to the plus version. And then whenever you attack an enemy on the plus version, you're going to get your move is going to be moved right in front of theirs as well. So here I decided to bring Vaan just for the damage, Setzer for all of the critical hits that you have to do to this enemy, because when they're in concentration mode, they go into this blue aura and they become immune to insta breaks. They gain, huge brave, huge defense, and you need to do critical hit brave damage to break that aura. And then and so with Setzer, you automatically get that with his LD. It's gonna make everybody hit for crit with his with those rainbow numbers you see there. So super easy. This fight is super easy when you bring in Setzer. There's really nothing you have to watch out for when you have him, because they can be broken very easily. If you're in trouble, you could always use Noctis to do some turn manipulation, and Vaan is just gonna completely melt away their HP. Now for the orb. The orb appears at 79% with a max turn with an orb count of 8. Max count of 8. Then in order for you to increase the orb, you need to do ranged brave damage, and you're going to get a +2. And here I believe the only character that I have that does ranged is Noctis, but then I also think that Setzer has some ranged as well. But again, they have 10 mil HP, so it's not too bad. They're a little tanky, not bad at all. If you can see here with Vaan, he's just gonna completely destroy these guys. Super easy, and having Setzer's LD buff on them just makes it that much better. And so the turn count is 75. Not too bad for the turn count. At least it's not 60. It can still be, you should be able to do this way before 60 turns anyway. Now, because it is a Dimensions End stage, you're going to have a crystal unit requirement. So you have to bring a certain color crystal for this one. And the crystal is red. Now, I chose to bring in Vaan to cover that requirement. And then again, I want to make sure, if you guys haven't done this stage, they're going to be strong against melee, super strong. And when they go into that concentration mode, you're going to see blue around them. You attack them with melee, and they're going to turn around, counter you, I think, with an insta kill. So you can't attack them with melee. They're going to be doing something called spreading the acid at 79 and 49%, and it's going to inflict the corrosion debuff on you. And what that's going to do is that it's going to give you the debuff is brave and HP damage resistance 30%, or resistance down 30% to you, so you're going to take more brave and HP damage from them. And then when they enter concentration mode, again, they are going to gain this huge brave gain, immune to breaks. You'll see here that A does that, but as soon as you break them, it's going to it should take them out, or not when you break them, but you need to deal critical damage to break that stance. So that's where Setzer comes in. There it is, all critical, and then concentration broken. So that's all you have to do. As long as you hit for critical, which Core will do automatically with his Reaper's Gale, I think it is. His HP attack. After I think he has 10 stacks, his HP turns into Reaper's Gale. It does rainbow damage, which is guaranteed critical. So that's all you have to do. So again, concentration mode, huge Brave gain, and then it's going to be hard for you to bring down those defenses. But you could always gravity as well. Use some type of gravity-based character, so even Bart's would work there because, or actually, I don't know if Bart's will work because Bart's he actually, I don't know if he's a melee attacker. So if you attack with him or his LD, I think that he's gonna get insta-killed. Now, yeah, so you can't bring in Bart's for that because he will get killed. But you can bring in Ultimisia. You can bring any character that has some type of gravity-based attack. Or again, I'm gonna reiterate for those that don't know gravity. Gravity is just when you don't hit the enemy to lower down their Brave. What you're doing is that you're just applying a certain amount of Brave damage down. So, you know, Ultimisia might say, you know, reduce their Brave by X amount. That's just without doing any hits. So that's gravity-based damage. So here they both enter into the stands. Since I do have the fixed dice, here you'll see that Setzer does have a ranged attack here with his, I think it's the red card. So you'll see that they have, the orb count is at 2. But I'm not concerned because I still have my summon. Now they're both at 1. Concentration's broken on both of them since they was critical damage. And then you go straight into the summon here. And I finish off I finish off A. Now it's gonna be super helpful if you finish off one of the enemies. Now if you have all ranged attackers, then you don't have to worry so much about taking one out. But for me, if you notice, it's hard for me to keep up with the orb if I'm trying to take them both down at the same time. So here, since I only have technically one ranged attacker, I want to take one out so that now every time I'm attacking with Noctis and I'm attacking B, A's orb is not counting down, and I have to keep switching back and forth. So I think the trick here to not bring in an all range team is to eliminate one of the enemies as soon as possible. Once you do that, you should be good to go, because in my case, not only do you have the turn manipulation with Noctis, but then you also have the delay with Setzer. And then aside from the delay with Setzer and his red card, then you have his freeze Joker. So I'm like, if there's only one enemy left, you're gonna be completely safe. There's nothing to worry about. So that's what I decide to do here, and I will be, I think, eliminating A here on the next turn, and then it's smooth sailing from that point on out. So the burst and the summon, I suggest you either save it for when you're in trouble with the orb, or you could always burst early, try to just take out as much or dish out as much damage as you possibly can, and then just kind of move on from there. Other than that, that's it. There's nothing else really to the fight. There's a lot of ways to lock out the enemies. You don't have to let them attack. So when an enemy doesn't have to attack, it makes the Lufenia fights, I think, pretty easy. You just gotta make sure that you understand that for example, this mechanic, I think the biggest thing about them to watch out for is that concentration mode and not bringing in a melee attacker. Then if you can't do critical damage or range damage, then bring in Setzer. Then there's also Core, and I'm assuming that most people at that time had pulled for one of those two characters. Other characters that could help you with Brave damage. In critical, I think it's Barrett. I did try to pull for him, but I didn't get lucky, and on that one, pull his LD. And I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, but I'll be honest. I think for me, Barret is just not worth it. I have everybody I think from Final Fantasy VII that's available. I think maxed out, except for Barret. And as much as I like the original trio of Cloud, Tifa, and Barret, and I did want to try to maybe do some runs that way. In all reality, he just wasn't worth my resources. Getting into BT Plus here coming up soon and things like that, I feel like I just need to start saving some resources because I've gotten really lucky with pulls, extremely lucky with pulls, and if my luck runs out, I think I'm gonna find myself in some trouble in the BT Plus era. You know, got to make sure that I'm trying to pull for, probably go for like Zidane's LD, Ace's burst, and I'll probably end up greening Ace. I'm gonna try and probably token his burst or even pity the burst, I would think at that point. But yeah, I don't think Barret was really worth my resources. That was more of a personal, like a personal investment just because I like him so much. But I tried, I think it was like 150, 200 tickets, somewhere around there. And I just didn't want to spend anything further. For red crystals, you could bring in, just in case you get inflicted with corrosion, you could bring in like Yuffie. She's red, has a red crystal. You could also bring in Cypher if you pulled for Barret, Aerith. Who else? There's a couple red crystals out there that I think you could bring. And then to control the orb, you could also bring other ranged brave damage attackers like Aranea. Actually, would be good too. Aranea, she's going to be able to just delay them and help you have them not attack. So even if you don't have Setzer and let's say you brought in Core, I would think maybe like a actually Core. I keep saying Core, but I think Core is melee, so I don't think actually Core would work here. Core will not work here. That was my mistake. So Core is melee, so I would not bring Core. So Setzer's probably your best bet here. Yeah, so just I would say if you did pull for Setzer, I hope you pull for Setzer, then just go ahead and use him here, and you should be good to go. Here you'll see, again, they're not going to really do much, especially by just putting on the freeze. There is no HP requirements here, so it doesn't matter how much HP damage you take, as long as your score. Now it's just more of a score requirement. I think it's like 970,000 for the score requirement. So here I'm not worried about taking that bit of HP damage, and that's all for the fight. Don't bring melee, bring range attackers, got to use a red orb, and just you got to make sure you do critical hit brave damage to take them out of their stands, and you're good to go. Good luck, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.